Welcome everyone to Throwback Gaming's Heart of the Woods demo Let's Play Part 2. Last time we met the main characters Maddie and her friend Tara, and we learned about them planning details to go on this trip to the middle of the woods to investigate something going on there. And we also found out that they have a it's not a podcast, it's a live stream where they talk about different cryptics and they answer questions and stuff. Kind of gives me memories of that show that used to be on Nickelodeon called iCarly, which was similar. They streamed stuff and they would answer questions from their audience and whatnot. But we also found out that Maddie, which is the main character, wants to quit for some reason, but she doesn't want to tell her friend because she doesn't want to hurt her feelings. So she didn't end up telling her, which is going to be a bad thing in the long run. But now we're in Chapter 1. So let's see what happens, shall we? A winter wonderland. That's how this place was pitched to us, out in the middle of the forest with an unpronounceable name, in a village that time forgot. So we're in the middle of nowhere, and it's probably extremely cold and hard living. Great. And the email, it sounded like every other ghost hunter's paradise that we get messaged about, isolated and tweeted, I don't know what that is, with the tourist board encouraging hokey effects and gaudy billboards. The vast majority of those emails go unanswered. If Tara wasn't so capricious, this one probably would have too. But no, something about journeying to the middle of nowhere for a month struck her fancy, and like always, I let myself get dragged into it, so here I am, for the last time. That's what you think. Those are some interesting boots. I like her green jacket though. The train beats out a slow, monotonous rhythm beneath us. It's an older machine, the sort that looks like it's supposed to take us to wizarding school or something that should be in a museum. I love it. When I bought the tickets, I thought we'd be getting something on, like, Amtrak. Oops. I shifted my seat, the tethered cushion, and wooden boards doing little to soothe the pain in my back. We've been on the train for 12 hours, and I can feel every one of them in my bones. Ugh. Old train, old cushions. That's a long time. 12 hours, like, dang. Like, Tara's been out the last 6. Upright but still asleep. If the bumpy ride bothers her, she doesn't show it. She fell asleep while she was reading something. That's funny. The paperback she was reading dangles low in her hand, in danger of losing her spot in the book. I scuffed my feet across the floor, kicking at nothing. As tired as I am, I'm afraid for our journey to end, for Tara to wake up, to talk to me. I'm almost offended that she can sleep. She should be as preoccupied as I am, fighting off intrusive thoughts and wondering what to say. She's at peace because she ain't had nothing. You're upset because you want to tell her that you want to quit, and you don't want to tell her because you're afraid that it's going to ruin your friendship, which it probably will be. You wouldn't know from looking at her that we've barely spoken for 3 days. That's how long ago I told her that this would be our last trip. Oh, we haven't talked. She told her already, and it's been 3 days since they talked. Ugh. That's how long ago I told her that this would be our last trip for the show together, and that I was quitting once we got back home. Everything since then, packing, booking our tickets, finding someone to take care of the cat while we're gone, happened in a blur. We've been cordial, but that's it. She's being professional, but not friendly. My heart hurts, but I can tell I made the right decision. Yawning, I lean back against my seat and pretend it's comfortable. The cushions are unnoticeable, nearly as firm as the wood floor beneath us. A heater in the corner hems and hawks like an old man, but it's not nearly powerful enough to fight off the chill. You should have brought a blanket or something. I desperately wish I could sleep too, but one of us needs to be awake for when we get to the station. And that should be any minute now. Plus, I've never been able to fall asleep on planes or trains anyway. Well, you should have brought something to do then. My eyes are sore and I rub one of them as I press my cheek to the cold window. Outside, it may have well been another world compared to the city we left behind. If not for the moonlight, I wouldn't have been able to see anything, but the soft, white glow makes the snow in nearby forests glisten like it's under some kind of sorcerer's spell. It's nice. A winter wonderland. The trees are all bare, save for a blanket of snow that covers them. Their empty branches look like something out of a kid's Halloween movie, shaking in the wind as if possessed. They just seem to stretch on forever, farther than I can even see. It's more like an ocean than a forest. Morgan certainly wasn't exaggerating when she said this place was remote. Intermediate lights flicker among the trees in the distant dark, which I assume come from either winter campers or hermits. I'd call them crazy, but I'm about to be doing the exact same thing. Exactly, you can't say anything. Something catches my eye, way off in the woods. One of the trees, barely visible, seems to shake in a different way than the rest, as if blown by a different breeze. A thin layer of frost is beginning to form on the outside of the window as I push my face against it, turning to try and find whatever I saw. It's gone, though. It was almost certainly never to be even begin there. It was almost certainly never even there to begin with. Either my eyes are playing tricks on me or the moonlight was. I sigh and sit back again, allowing my eyes to barely close. I won't fall asleep. I'll just, you've been awake for more than 12 hours. You're gonna fall asleep. I'm jolted back into alertness as the train lurches harder than before. There's a shrill whistling sound and the shutters of the train grow stronger as we begin to slow down. The driver hits the brakes. We're almost there. Across from me, Tara is undisturbed. Somehow, she still hasn't dropped her book. Apparently, she's less clumsy when she's asleep. Oh, that's funny. Through the frosted window, I can see the lights of what must be Eisenfield as we approach the station. There are few and far between, like scattered stars. The buildings appear to be placed sporadically, nestled on and around a hill. As we round a bend, the village goes out of sight once more. I can't really put this off any longer. I lean over and shake Tara's shoulder. Hey, wake up. We're almost there. Without opening her eyes, Tara murmurs a response. How close is almost? Seriously? I don't know. Couple minutes? Okay, I'm getting up. She isn't getting up. I meant it. If you sleep through the stop, we're just going to. I'm up, Mads. She finally opens her eyes. Oops, my bad. We're not even there yet and we're already snappy. God, I wish I could sleep. Just a little longer, I tell myself. You excited? A little bit. Lie. You? Kinda nervous still. What's there to be nervous about? We've done this 1,000 times. Yeah, well, this isn't like those other 1,000 times. And you know that. She shrugs again, not meeting my eyes. I don't know, Mad. I'm sorry, let's chill. Yeah, sorry. We lapse into silence. At least when she's asleep it wasn't awkward. I just want off this train. I want to be distracted by going to the camp and taking in the new sights. Any minute now. Hey, listen. Yeah? I know you're, like, not super thrilled to be here. She pauses, like, hoping for me to disagree. I don't. But let's just be cool, okay? Let's just try and have a good time. I breathe a deep sigh and let it out slowly. She's right. I'm committed to the trip. I can at least make it easy on myself. Yeah, okay. Sorry for being bitchy. I'm tired. I feel you. Hey, how do I look? Like you just slept for 6 hours on a train. That bad, huh? She messes with her hair in some attempt to improve its state. The results are unnoticeable at best. It's awful. Hopefully, it's good enough for Morgan. Fisher. Morgan Fisher. If she's meeting her online hero or whatever, then I doubt she'll care if your hair's a mess. God, I hope not. I don't want to end up on some fashion Fox Piss vid. For real though, if she's super fangirly, then let's just let her get it out of her system and hopefully she won't make things weird later. Make Making things get weirder later is kind of her specialty, though. I love it. Yeah, true, but hey, it's got us to 250,000 subs, so, like, we must be doing something right. I just nod. I mean, Tara's really the one that's doing all the video stuff. We just kind of do the technical work. That's the thing, though. How's she gonna do it after we quit? I still can't help but fixate on how everything she said is past tense. It's over after this. It's fully my decision. All I have to do is say the words, and things will go back to normal. I doubt Tara would ever bring it up again if I asked her not to. It'd be so easy. But you don't want to. At least not at this moment in time. Isn't that pretty? Looks like one of those little snow towns. Heart of the woods. Ooh. Excuse me. We step off the train and into another world. A frigid wind saps the heat from my body almost immediately, as if it has been waiting until we arrive to pelt us, until our skin feels like burning. Why would you want to go somewhere like this? It sounds awful. I mean, it looks pretty, but it sounds very brutal. I instinctively wrap my arms around myself to try to preserve what little body heat I have left. But it doesn't change a thing. I might as well not even be wearing a coat for all the good it does. As nice as it is to have the moon keeping things from being completely pitch black, I could really go for some cloud cover right about now. Anything to keep some warmth around us. Of course, Tara does not even seem to notice. If anything, this place is having the opposite effect on her. It's like she's completely forgotten how the uncomfortable energy that filled the train back to her usually overly excited self. I can't help feeling jealous. I figured that the low light would keep her from breaking out any camera right away, but she's snapping away without a care. You know, none of those are actually going to be visible, right? She ignores me. I probably should just let her enjoy the moment. Exactly, don't be a party pooper. This place really does feel super eerie. I really think this could be the place where we finally get some real hard evidence. While her words are as ambitious as ever, I can't help noticing that they seem to have significantly less fire behind them. I'm not even sure she knows she's doing it, but I can tell her enthusiasm is forced. When she speaks again, her voice is worryingly quiet. I can't imagine a better send-off. I want to try and deflate somehow, to set her back on her path. She deserves to enjoy this moment without me spoiling it. Who knows, maybe this will be the one that finally gets you a con panel so you don't have to crash someone else's. That was one time, and I think I did a pretty good job up there. Her voice seems to regain some of the boundless energy. Either she's bounced back well, or she's gotten better at hiding how she's feeling. I really hope it's the former. I don't know, I don't think she really hides her feelings very well. She returns to the camera and I give myself a moment to try and take in my surroundings. Using the flashlight on my phone, I try to figure out what it is about the darkness that has her so excited. Seeing nothing but the light reflecting off the snow puts me a little more at ease. She's probably just being Tara. Supernatural or not, there's something oddly serene about the place. It is pretty. That said, I'd like it a lot more if it wasn't so damn cold. I feel that. I can't wait to see the village tomorrow. I bet it's going to be like one of those animatronic museum exhibits. It's not like they don't have any connection to the outside world, apart from the architectural style. I can't imagine it'd be different from home. I don't know. I mean, they are in the middle of nowhere. They probably don't have as many creature comforts as normal, you know, like in a regular city. If you're expecting people to be walking around in top hats and waistcoats, I'm pretty sure you're going to be disappointed. And here I thought I'd finally get a chance to show off how amazing I look in a top hat. I'm sure you'd be the teen heartthrob of the Victorian era. She gives me a brief snort of amusement before picking up her camera again. Her responses still feel more muted than usual, but the fact that she's still able to banter is a good sign. I'm glad that I still know how to cheer her up, even if I was the cause of her low mood in the first place. However, after a moment, she looks back at me. Her expression is serious for once. Oh, this is important. Okay, so about Morgan. Like I said before, let's give her a chance to get all the excitement out of the way first. We should be friendly and nice, but let's try to keep professional. I never thought I'd hear you, of all people, say that. That's funny. I find myself flashing back to all the various situations I've had to extract Tara from, ranging from bad one-night stands to actual police custody. Tara! Bad! Bad Tara. There's a lot of ways I could describe Tara, but professional is not one of them. Yeah, apparently. She can barely keep up her serious demeanor for a few moments before she's back to her usual self. She can play it cool all she wants, but I can tell from the way she's bending up and down, she's undeniably excited for this fangirling she mentioned. I'm sure a little ego boost will go a long way right now. I can feel myself hopping back and forth slightly as well, but that's more out of a desire to keep my blood flowing. In the end, I couldn't say no to one final expedition with her, but I really wish she'd pick somewhere that was at least hospitable. Thankfully, it wasn't too long before I can see the silhouette of someone approaching the storm. I think that's her. Brace yourself. I bet she's not going to be what you expect. Given that we're the only people out here, I'm certainly hope that's her. Otherwise, it might be a serial killer. Dang, look at her eyes. They're like emeralds. Morgan herself comes into view now. She's not exactly an imposing figure, but she moves with purpose, like a woman on a mission. She's carrying a large thermos, which she raises in greeting as she approaches. She looks like a Fire Emblem character. One of the first things I notice about her is that for some ungodly reason, she's not wearing a coat. All she's gone on to protect her from the frigid weather looks like a hand-knit sweater. Yeah, that doesn't look very warm at all. I'm sure to a casual observer, I'd seem like the one who's actually from here. However, she doesn't so much as shiver. In fact, she doesn't do much of anything. On approach, she greets us with nothing more than a tired smile and a small nod. Not exactly the geeking out Tira was expecting. I knew it. Hey there, you two. Sorry I'm late. Her voice is friendly but flat. She doesn't sound irritated or anything, just tired. I can't say I blame her. Tara, however, looks a little bit taken back. Recovering quickly, she puts on a big celebrity grin. Maybe she's just tired of living in the middle of nowhere. Oh, no worries. We're looking for Morgan. Is she you? That's me, actually. It's really nice to meet you, Tara. Morgan's smile does seem to grow warmer as she greets her, but her face quickly regains a neutral expression a moment later. Maybe she's just not very emotional. I can see Tara's smile faltering as she realizes it's clearly the maximum amount of geeking out this girl is capable of, at least for now. To her credit, she recovers well. Likewise. Charmed, I'm sure. Okay, maybe not that well. Tara extends her hand and Morgan gives her a brief handshake before turning to me. You're Madison, right? I think we spoke already. Just Maddie's fine. Nice to meet you. She shakes her hand as well. It's a firm, friendly handshake that ends as quickly as it began. Before she continues, she takes another sip of her thermos. I have to stop myself from asking for some as well. Not even Tara would be that brash. It's really nice to meet the two of you. I'm sure you had a lot of invitations, so I'm glad you settled on mine. Are you kidding? Remote village in the middle of a huge forest? There's no way I'd pass it up. I've heard all kinds of stories about the kinds of things people in these woods see. Hopefully not too many, or I won't have any more to offer you. Oh, I'm sure you got something or other for us. Real smooth, Tara. So much for being professional. I can see Morgan's mouth twitch slightly at the comment. I can only hope it was something closer to a smile than a grimace. At the very least, I can show you around the village. There isn't too much out of the ordinary there, but I'm sure you can find a few things that interest you. That would be wonderful. I'm sure we'll enjoy quite a bit of sightseeing during the few moments that Tara isn't off chasing spirits in the woods. Morgan lets out a little chuckle before almost instantly regaining her composure. Tara flashes me a look of mock annoyance for the slight. However, I'm pretty sure I can detect a little bit of real annoyance with the fact that I've got more of a reaction on Morgan than she has. It's about a half an hour's carriage ride to the cabin if you guys want to head out. Do you need me to help you with your bags at all? Tara defiantly lifts her bags, giving Morgan another shiny grin. I'm pretty sure I see her accidentally flexing her arms too. Are you trying to show off to her? Psh, don't worry about it, I got this. Okay, cool, this way. As we follow her, I can see Tara pouting behind her. I've never seen the wind get taken out of her sails like that. I chuckle a bit despite myself. At least it gives her another thing to think about that isn't my departure. Wait a second. Did she say carriage? Yeah. No. Way. We're standing in front of an honest-to-goodness, horse-drawn carriage. If it wasn't for the little white puffs of breath coming from the horses' noses, I'd be willing to believe this was some sort of commemorative statue. This is so cool. Is it yours? It belongs to my family. Given that there aren't many roads through the woods, there isn't really a point of anyone owning a car out here. I move closer, examining the craftsmanship as best as I can in the moonlight. The design is fairly bare bones, but a few flourishes here and there and some semi-ordinate painted finishes make it clear this was something built with love and care. Suddenly I realize I'm not hearing any exclamations of excitement from Tara. I figure she'd be touching every square inch of this thing. Tara, come take a look at this. As I speak, I look behind her and she's sitting completely still, as if the cold has her rooted to the spot. Give me a second. I'm just taking in the view a bit. She's trying to act nonchalant, but her wide eyes keep flicking towards the horses. Her previous genuine grin has turned into a very nervous grimace. Slowly inching forward, she scoots further away from the horses as she approaches the carriage. I doubt she planned for part of her first impression to be Morgan learning that she's absolutely terrified of horses. She had better at least learn to tolerate them, or this is going to be an even longer trip than I expected. She's scared of horses. I bet she had a bad experience. Wait, if this is the only way through the woods, how are we going to get back and forth between the cabin and the village? Neither of us can drive a carriage, and I imagine your family doesn't want us holding on to theirs. Oh, I'm going to be driving you. I can take you back and forth between the two, and I can help you navigate the woods. You didn't expect me to just let you wander around a forest in the middle of nowhere without a guide, did you? Tara, still slowly making her way towards the carriage, does her best to give me a look of excitement. If anything, it resembles the look of a panicked hostage. That's awful. The fact that she's still trying to play it cool is almost admirable in its futility. You're sure there's not any trouble? I'd hate to inconvenience you any more than we already have. It's not any trouble. I run my own shop, so my schedule is pretty flexible. I'm more than happy to help. She's trying to get her out of having to ride in a carriage. She looks over at Tara, who has finally made it in within a few feet of the carriage. She shoots us both a thumbs up. I have a feeling she might need it. Trust me, you have no idea. Morgan turns and defiantly swings up into her seat, taking a hold of the reins. Tara finally manages to place her hands onto the carriage and climb up to sit alongside her, shaking all the way. I let out a sigh of relief and follow suit, mounting up next to her. It's a little cramped in here, but I'd feel weird just sitting by myself. Besides, not keeping an eye on Tara is a pretty guaranteed way to make things even worse first impression. So, can you do any tricks in this thing? The path to the cabin turns out to be a complicated one. We've been making twists and turns through the forest for a few minutes, but Morgan seems to know exactly where she's going. Not even the dark can stand in her way. Obviously, she's done this a lot of times. You can navigate through all this with just a little lantern? How can you see the landmarks? Don't worry, I know these woods better than anything. Besides, the moonlight is more than enough for me. I can't help but feel embarrassed as I think about all the times I had to use my flashlight on my phone just to find something I dropped in the car. I definitely wouldn't last out here. I feel that. Looking over, I can see that Tara is anxious to start asking Morgan a very long list of questions about the woods. After that flubbed introduction, she's clearly a little less gun-ho than usual, but I know that won't stop her. As such, I should probably get my handling of the actual adult stuff out of the way quickly before it gets lost in the noise. So, the cabin we're going to stay in, what's the situation as far as modern amenities go? Don't worry, it's nothing too primitive. My family owns it, so they kept it up, but we don't really use it anymore. It's got running water, heat, electricity, the works, internet too, at least when the weather is feeling cooperative. Hey, that's pretty generous considering we're in the middle of the woods, away from, modern society, really. I should warn you right now that you're not going to have much luck with your cell phones. Reception out here is pretty much non-existent. There's a landline in the cabin though, and I'll leave my number so you can reach me in case of emergency. That's good. That's perfect, thanks. Thank God, I was terrified we might have been working in some sort of duplicated death trap. So, while we're on our way, could you maybe tell us some of the more specific supernatural occurrences you've seen out here so far? I gently elbow her in the stomach in a gesture that I hope effectively commemorates, let me talk about the actual important stuff first. However, Morgan doesn't so much as flinch at the question. If anything, she actually seems a little bit excited to talk about it. Her eyes seem to lose a little bit of their constant drowsiness, and she sits up perfectly straight. She's been waiting for this. Excuse me. Well, we have a lot of freak weather events, strange storms that appear and disappear, or are localized to certain parts of the forest in ways that it shouldn't be possible. That's interesting. Tara nods penitently, ready to start pressing for details. I realize my questions are going to have to wait, so I just decide to let the two of them run their course. Sometimes when I walk in the woods, I can see strange lights here and there, like tiny little stars inside the forest. I've never been able to get close to them, though. I'll raise an eyebrow, but don't say anything. I've had countless cases of strange lights before, all of which ended with a rational explanation. That doesn't seem to dampen Tara's spirits, though. I feel myself starting to drift. The steady, mild bumping sensation of the carriage combined with the exhaustion of the journey threatened to make me fall asleep right there. I'm sure they can wake me when we get there. You need the rest anyways. There's also my cat. Your cat is a supernatural occurrence. She can talk. So, I'd say so. What? The words snapped me back out of my trance. Looking over at her, I expect her to see her holding in a laugh or sport some kind of mischievous grin, but her face is as serious as it's been since we arrived. Your cat can talk? Like talk the way a human does? Yes, she's very well spoken, in fact. I try to hide a sight. I should have known she was going to be one of those fans. Some people invite us out tend to be a little strange. It's happened plenty of times. And while this meeting is definitely more unique than the previous one, I'm not too shocked by it. Tara, however, instantly perks up once her words sink in. She can't actually believe her, right? So, could we talk to her? She wouldn't mind if I ask a few questions, right? Usually she only talks to me, but I can try to convince her. The whole thing is clearly some kind of joke, but Tara is obviously taken in. I can practically see the wheels turning in her head as she plans out her follow-up questions. That's never good. So, do you have any ideas about what could be causing it? Something in her diet, perhaps? I don't think so. What's going on? Have you been feeding her some kind of special Eisenfield cat food? Can I try some? Okay, I think that's enough of that. When Tara starts talking about eating cat food, it's time for me to exercise a little diplomacy and move the conversation forward. Crazy or not, I think we should move on. No, Tara, do not eat the cat food. So what kind of things does she talk to you about? Just about our lives, for the most part. I figured you'd be better off hearing it from her rather than me. I'm sure that'd be illuminating. She's like, oh my goodness, not this. She thinks she's a crazy cat lady. I'll say, if there's something that paranormal in the village itself, you must have seen way crazier stuff in the woods. She starts to gesture as she talks, pointing back towards the village and swinging her arms around as she mentions the woods. Morgan hitting her with something concrete has definitely put her back into her element. In a way, I suppose it has for me too. I couldn't get a read on her when we arrived, and now that I know she's probably crazy, at least I know what I'm dealing with. Well, there's one pretty major thing, but you probably won't believe me. Okay, first of all, you told us that your cat can talk to you. I think anything else afterwards doesn't... There's nothing more surprising than that. I wouldn't have come out here if I didn't believe you. Anything you say, I want to hear. I can't detect a hint of cynicism in her voice. Either she really believes this girl she just met has a talking cat, or she's giving a performance worthy of an Oscar. Are you sure? 110%. Lay it on me. She winks at her and flashes her finger guns back in celebrity mode. Tara's good at recovering with these things, but I've never seen her recover on this level with such speed. But as I watch her lean towards Morgan, I make sure she catches the next statement. I realize another possible reason for her passionate response. Oh, do you have a crush on her? Is that what this is about? If there's one thing she loves more than hearing strange stories, it's trying to impress a cute girl. Now things are starting to fall in place a bit more. Well, one of the main reasons I called you out here is, I'm not sure if it has a name, but I think it has some kind of forest spirit. Spirit? Like a ghost or something? No. Something physical. Some sort of massive creature. Like the forest came to life. Okay, this is new. Even crazier fans don't get this outlandish. But Tara is obviously eating it up. No matter what her reasoning is, I'm glad she's having a good time. It means I can stay out of this conversation. It's a lot harder to pretend to believe things when I'm this tired. Is there anything else you can tell me about it? Does it speak or anything? Have you ever managed to interact with it at all? Is it more like a haiku size, or more of a basketball player sized? I've only seen it once, unfortunately, so I don't know much about it. I've searched it for a number of times, but since then without results. Who knows, maybe you two will have better luck at it than I have. That's why you're the best, isn't it? In terms of talent, I'd say it's certainly up there. Morgan's mouth turns up in a small but seemingly genuine smile, and her expression grows slightly less intimidating. I knew you'd believe me. No one else around here does. I can't imagine why. Shut up, Maddie. I feel a little pang of guilt as that crossed my mind. And crazy as her story sounds, it can't possibly be easy feeling rejected in a community this isolated. No wonder she was so eager to bring us into the fold. So, how far away do you say we are from the cabin? We should be coming up on it any minute now. I'll help you two help the two of you get situated and then head back. I'll be happy to tell you more about the spirit tomorrow. Thank God. Oh yeah. Great. That's great. I'm exhausted. That much isn't a lie. All I want to do right now is pass out. With any luck, I'll wake up to find out this whole thing is just a bad dream. Okay, here we go. Okay, I guess we're back to the guide. Guided through a time skip, and here I thought we decided we weren't going to make this game about time travel. Given that we never previewed it back when it was about time travel in the first place, I'm pretty sure that joke isn't going to be funny to anyone except our writers. This scene takes place a little further on in the game, after we've been to Eisenfield for a few days. Unsurprisingly, we haven't had much luck. The only thing out of the ordinary we encountered so far is our host. She's arranged for us to meet her in the woods near her cabin. I'm about 80% sure we're going to get murdered. I'm only 80% sure. The other 20%... You're way too harsh, Matt. I think Morgan's pretty neat. A little weird, sure, but she seems like her heart's in the right place. That's suspiciously sincere of you to say. Not to mention the fact that she's super hot. Oh yeah, she totally has a crush on her. I knew it. Despite very clear warnings from other villagers that Morgan is dangerous, Tara is determined to meet her anyways. I'm going to protect her from herself. But I'm not happy about it. That's hilarious. We had an appointment meeting spot right at the turn of the hour. Even during the day, the forest felt hostile and foreign, but now it's night. It's downright scary. Actually, I think I'm going to stop here, since that seems like a good place to cut off, since this is a time travel skip. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel when you know new videos come out. And I'll see you next time when we get farther into this demo. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens next. But until then, peace out.